Hi, Gemini. This is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly horoscope for the month of May. This is my third monthly horoscope that I've ever done, and you're the third sign of the zodiac. So let's get to work. We are now I am actually taping this at the end of April, and Venus is currently in its shadow. It's about to retrograde in your sign. And Venus is the planet of love and beauty and creativity. It rules how we earn money. It rules what we value. It rules how we partner. And Venus retrogrades once every year and a half, and it retrogrades in the sign of Gemini every 8 years. The last time it was retrograde in your sign was in 2012. And so with this said, this is a big deal for you because it's going to bring up a lot about your past, whether it's reassessing what you value, maybe you're rethinking your values. I imagine a lot of people from your past will resurface with that because Gemini tends to be a very social sign, and Venus in Gemini definitely is very social and flirtatious and fun. So with Venus retrograding in your first house, I would imagine that old lovers from the past resurface, that old friends, old colleagues, or schoolmates resurface. But also, the first house is the house of the physical body. It's the house of self. It's the house of new beginnings. Maybe you're reassessing what you want to do creatively. Maybe you want to start a new project going further, and you're doing research. It's another RE word on how you can do so. If there are issues in some relationships, whether professionally or romantically, or even friendships, maybe you're rethinking how you can repair those relationships. That might be another use of the retrograde. And the supermoon in Scorpio falls in your sixth house of daily routine and habits and work. And it's at 17 degrees of Scorpio. And it's a contentious full moon. It's in its fall in Scorpio. The moon does not like being in the sign of Scorpio. And it opposes Mercury in Taurus, which is Mercury is the ruler of your sign. So Mercury is information. So we've got the full moon in the sign of secrets, Scorpio, opposing the planet of communication, the news, squaring Mars in Aquarius. Well, that can be pretty contentious. And you can imagine probably some things are going to come out in our own lives, whether there's hidden information that surfaces in your workplace or on the world stage, or just in general, things that come out, or just people being combative in general. But you want to release the toxicity because you want to also renovate yourself. That's all these RE words. And you want to, get back on routine, get back, even though it's returning to things. Okay. And then we have, let's see. So we've got Saturn retrograding on May 11th. And Saturn's retrograding at 1 degree of Aquarius, and that rules your eighth house of joint resources and of no, sorry, pardon me, it doesn't. It rules your ninth house of thinking and of learning and higher learning and teaching, and with Saturn in Aquarius is very much about enlightenment. And that's also, Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, the ruler of your sign. And it's a chaos, and it's brilliance, and it's enlightenment. So with Saturn retrograding in the ninth house, it briefly entered that house for you on March 21st. It's going to exit there completely on July 2nd. It's going to re-enter Capricorn at that time, and then it's going to re-enter for the next 2 years in December. So you're reassessing, what you believe in. Maybe you're learning new things. Gemini is always curious, always the perennial student anyway. So that might be something that's going on for you. And then Jupiter is also stationing retrograde the day after Venus. So we've got the two benefics retrograding within a day of one another. Jupiter's retrograding in Capricorn, and that falls in your, I have to do this. See, this is my thing of your being the third sign. So that's going to be in your eighth house of joint resources and finances. And so if you have the eighth house deals with financial partnerships, but it also deals with taxes and debt and mortgages. So you may be reflecting if you've overspent, or if there are issues that you need to recalibrate in terms of getting your finances in repair. And again, of course, this is a very difficult year across the board. When Saturn and Pluto met up on January 12th, they met up on at the world axis, and they're the two malefics. And Saturn is the planet of karma, and it is the planet of challenge and restrictions, and Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. And there was an enormous amount of planets in Capricorn, and it was mass karma and death and rebirth of a lot of ways that we the economy and other things, not that we can't repair it, but that challenges that we're dealing with on a very global and collective level. So the idea that debt might be an issue is probably true for many. I probably every sign I do on this, but with you, that's the house it is falling in. And with Jupiter retrograde there, again, you want to reevaluate how you can repair that house. And let's see, we have a new moon. So the sun is entering your sign of Gemini on May 20th. So the sun will be transiting in your first house of self. You're having your solar return, new beginning in your annual new year. And then we have a new moon in Gemini that falls on May 22nd in your first house of self. And that's your new moon. That's your new moon. So that's a time of setting intentions and planting seeds, and it's in your house of new beginnings. What do you want to initiate? And again, I always think this is true of any new moon, but particularly in one that's ruled by Mercury. Write down and be specific of what you want to manifest. Speak out loud and say affirmations, and be clear of what you want. And I wish you a lot of luck, and I hope you have a good and safe birthday. And again, this is a month of several planets retrograding. We've got, again, Pluto already retrograded on April 25th, Saturn on May 11th, Venus on May 13th, and Jupiter on May 14th. And I think 4 is enough. So, but I also think it'll be helpful for all of us to try to return to our new sense of normalcy. And thank you, and take care. Bye-bye.